Today on the Anchor Spotlight series, I'm breaking down how we worked with a billion-dollar manufacturer in the state of Illinois, and we helped them find an additional $135,000 a year in annual energy savings using the Community Solar Program. It cost them $0. They didn't have to install solar. It took us less than 90 days to do. And at the end of this video, I'm going to read the letter of recommendation that they gave us. My name is Dakota Malone. I co-founded Community Solar Authority. We make these videos to help people understand our business in an easy to digest way. And if you want a complimentary community solar readiness assessment, you can book a call at communitysolarauthority.com to get started. We've unlocked access to over $35 million in future energy savings with the program. So stay tuned to this episode of the Anchor Spotlight series. All right, guys, I am going to show you exactly how we review utility bills to determine how much a customer would save using community solar. So if you look at my screen I'm sharing right here, you can see that this is an actual Ameren bill from our manufacturing client. And when we think about reviewing utility bills and doing these kinds of audits, the few things that we want to understand is exactly what I'm going to show you. So first and foremost, you'll see these guys are definitely a large energy user. Their bill is $92-ish thousand a month. And you can see that that tracks this month in June. They were using 3.5 million kWh. And if you look at the rest of the year, you'll see that that is consistent across every single month. So when we're dealing with large energy users, again, this is a multi-billion dollar manufacturer. There are certain things we want to look at on the utility bill that will determine what the actual qualified energy spend is. And so what you'll learn is that this $92,000 is actually only showing the delivery and the taxes. And in the state of Illinois, there is specific legislation, which I will point out to you on the next page here. If you look down at the delivery, you'll see Ameren, Illinois, DS4, large general delivery service, greater than 1,000 kW. That is fancy for essentially saying that they can't consolidate their supply onto their utility bill. So quick refresher, a utility bill has three parts. It's supply, delivery, and taxes. And again, this specific bill is only showing delivery and taxes. And that is because if you have a meter this large in the state of Illinois, you cannot consolidate it onto your utility bill. So we have what's called deregulation in Illinois, where you can choose where your energy supply comes from. This specific client has an energy supplier that bills them separately. That means that they cannot use their supply costs on their qualified spend for community solar, which means we're only able to tackle delivery and taxes. So we're looking at about 58,000 or 56,000, a year on this specific bill for delivery. And then if I go to the last page, you will see that the rest of that is in taxes, totaling their $92-ish thousand a month. And so if I go back to the front or the first page of the bill, again, we are looking at all 12 months. We're not looking at their average kWh, because community solar, although the kWh is important, it's not an indicator of their total qualified spend. So we build these community solar subscriptions based off of this spending number. And in the case of this client, came out to be about $1.5 million annually between delivery and taxes that we could qualify for a community solar rollout. And that's it. That's exactly what we're looking at. Again, for this specific client, we would request the 12 months. We would do a deep dive. We would see what qualifies, what doesn't, and ultimately be able to come back to them building a proposal. But before we build the proposal, we plug it into our community solar ROI calculator that shows us and delivers reports on exactly how much they can save based off of their total annual spend. So that's where I'm going to take you guys to next. Stay tuned. Let's get on the calculator. All right, guys, welcome back. And I want to show you our community solar ROI calculator tool, completely free for our clients. And it's what we use to understand what the total qualified energy spend turns into in terms of savings for our clients that we work with. Again, we've used this tool to unlock access to over $35 million in future energy savings. And this is designed to show you what your annual savings could look like. So again, just a quick refresh. With this specific client, we could not incorporate any of their supply costs because their meter was too big. And so we took the total qualified delivery and tax spend, which normally is separated out. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to plug it in as total energy spend. And it's going to be around $1.5 million. we're going to apply a 10% discount. It's going to take 90% of that 1.5 million. And with one click of the button, you can see how we end up at $135,000 a year in annual savings. So the chart gives you a nice PDF that you can download. You can share the results with stakeholders. We put this into our aligned rooms so that stakeholders and other decision makers or team members can log in and see this graph, understand that here's where our current annual costs are at. Here's what it looks like with community solar. And again, this is on the understanding that this is coming on a $0 investment. You're not installing any sort of on-site solar or making changes to any sort of components of your facility. And you also get to display environmental stewardship while supporting clean energy legislation, in this case, in the state of Illinois. So with that being said, this is how simple it is once we look at the utility bill to flip that into estimated savings. And then from there, we begin to source projects, which becomes the tough part of community solar. Anybody can look at your utility bills and say, okay, you're using this much. This is how much you could save. The difficulty is in finding the right solar developers to work with, finding enough solar farms for a client this large. It actually required 8 different solar farms. And because of our industry experience, because of our relationship with some of the largest owner operators of solar farms in the state of Illinois, we were able to source all 8 solar farms under one development pipeline, meaning one solar developer, one summary bill every single month, so that this specific manufacturing client could not only save $135,000, but it wasn't causing any accounting headaches or any other, like multiple agreements, different vendors, etc. They were able to streamline it thanks to our work over at Community Solar Authority. And if you are listening to this or watching this video and you want a complimentary community solar readiness assessment to see if you guys are ready to implement community solar into your energy strategy and have us do it for you turnkey, you could go to communitysolarauthority.com to get started, book a call, and we'll see you there. Now, I want to shift from this because that's how simple the calculator is. But let me shift into a summary of this video and really help you wrap your head around the community solar opportunity. All right, guys, so I wanted to conclude this video with reading the actual letter of recommendation that came from this client. So I'm not going to display it or, put the decision maker that we worked with out there. If you do want to see this letter that includes that so you can verify that it's legit, you could just email me and ask. It's dmalone@communitysolarauthority.com. We are happy to share it with internal clients or people thinking about community solar so that we can showcase, our work and the work that we're doing. But here's what they had to say. I'm writing this letter of recommendation for Community Solar Authority on behalf of our corporation based on our recent and successful enrollment in the Community Solar program in Illinois. This recommendation is based on my personal experience interacting with Andrew and Dakota, having witnessed their knowledge, professionalism, and customer dedication. I had the pleasure of working with and learning from their team on the subject experts on topics related to solar programs, carbon neutrality strategies, and more specifically, the programs available in the state of Illinois. The knowledge I gained about the Community Solar program provided the confidence necessary to enroll our facilities at this location in Illinois into the program. Their ability to navigate through obstacles and capitalize on opportunities provided our company with the opportunity to maximize their savings through the program. Once all 8 solar farms are operational, we are expected to receive annual utility credits exceeding $135,000 a year. The savings captured through this program will go towards offsetting some of the ever-increasing Illinois state-mandated fees and program charges. It's with great confidence that I recommend to anyone interested in learning about or taking steps to enroll their organization into a community solar program that you partner with the team at Community Solar Authority. So I read this to you to showcase that we are supporting some of the largest energy users in the state of Illinois. When you're talking about someone who's spending millions of dollars, they're a corporation, in energy costs, they are looking to work with real professionals, subject matter experts. And when it comes to community solar, nobody's been doing it longer in the state of Illinois than our team over at Community Solar Authority when it comes to subscribing large anchor tenants into the program. The last thing that I want to highlight here is something that they said at the bottom of this letter of recommendation. The savings captured will go towards offsetting some of the ever-increasing Illinois state-mandated fees and program charges. This goes and also includes all of the additional utility charges. If you've been paying attention, if you're in MISO Southern Illinois as an example, the capacity auctions, and same thing as PJM and everywhere else around the country, the price of energy is not getting any cheaper. And so organizations need to solve for rising electricity costs, finding ways to hedge against inflation. And again, if you remember the start of the video, the better you're able to essentially collect your money back on the investments that you make in order to lower your electricity costs, the better those programs are. Community solar isn't a one-stop solution, but it does help you hedge against electricity inflation on a $0 investment without needing to install solar. You don't need to spend any CapEx to see guaranteed energy savings, and in the case of this corporation, they were able to capture $135,000 a year in additional energy savings. If you're a large energy user and you want to look at community solar, I suggest that you visit our website and, again, get a complimentary community solar readiness assessment at communitysolaurauthority.com, or I encourage you to connect with me on LinkedIn so you can follow along where I talk about other case studies, I do other deal breakdowns, and showcase what's going on in our world as sustainability entrepreneurs working to see the nationwide adoption of community solar. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. I am trying to post more YouTube videos moving forward. Like I said, I'm active on my blog at medium.com/communitysolaurauthority, my LinkedIn, and we hope to make a lot more YouTube videos as well. Thanks, guys, and I will see you on the next episode.